Let me get a thing. Let me stand.
Okay. So before we get started, oh, okay. For this meeting, I motion, yeah. And that'll be after the order. Yes. Yeah. Just want to make sure. Thank you for that. Okay, so, gosh, you guys got so quiet when I started talking. Makes me feel nervous. All right, so we are going to call the meeting to order at 9:16 a.m. 9:16 a.m. So, our secretary was not able to come today, so, I'd like to motion for
approving a secretary pro tem, Jay Bautista.
So I'd like to motion, wait, I'm not motioning that.
Oh, she got motion, sorry.
I will entertain a motion too.
Yes. I was like, I'm not motioning. So,
So you can still hear, and then if anybody wants to speak, we can talk around this.
I don't know if anybody can hear or we need to take the mics.
I could do it in a second. I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Jay Bautista as the secretary pro tem for this meeting.
Thank you, Rosemary. So we have a motion.
I second. Noel.
Okay, great. So a motion from Rosemary and a second from Noel. Okay, any objections? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you, Jada, I really appreciate it. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you guys all had a great break, in New Year and refreshed and didn't get stuck in all that traffic that I was just stuck in. And so, I don't even have the list of everybody up for attendance so that we can verify quorum. But from memory, I know that we have National City, I know that we have Chula Vista, I know that we have Coronado, Sweetwater, and you're National City, right? Okay. So I can verify that there is at least 3 school districts, so I'm verifying quorum. And South Bay, thank you. So we have at least 3 to verify quorum. For our voting members, there should be minutes from last meeting in front of you. Hopefully, you guys have had a chance to quickly review them. I can go ahead and give you a few minutes if you can take a look at it for notes. Once you have reviewed, I will ask for a motion and seconding and approval. So you can go ahead and take a moment to do that.
Yes.
Okay, before we never stuck in traffic, so we'll just keep flagging down and then. Yeah.
Okay, does anybody, are there any motions to approve the minutes or any changes that need to be made? Yes, for approving? Okay. America's motioning to approve.
I'll second.
And Erica Lowry is motioning to second. Any objections? Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So we have approval of minutes. Thank you for that. Okay. So opening procedures are done. We're going to go ahead and move to welcome and introductions. Usually I like to have everybody go around and say, especially because we have some new members, say their name, the district that they're representing, and then the role that they're playing. I know some people are coming in as special teachers, gen ed teachers, parents. So if we can go around and just do a quick run around of that, that would be great. And I think that would be helpful to the public. So my name is Jackie Chan. I'm a parent from San Isidro School District.
That's Salome, I'm from Sunday, and I'm a special education teacher.
I'm Shelby Carson from National School District. I'm also a special education teacher.
Consuelo Carranza, San Isidro School District, gen ed teacher.
Hi, my name is Maricela Cowie, San Isidro School District. I'm a special education teacher.
America Ellis, National School District, and a parent.
Erica Avery, Sweetwater Union High School District, and I'm a special education teacher.
Sally Severson, I am a gen ed teacher and a parent of a son in the special day class.
Oh, Sweetwater, did I say Sweetwater?
Okay. Erica Lowry, Coronado Unified, and parent.
Melissa Dolo, South Bay Union, parent. Bilal Cravens, Chula Vista Elementary School District, and a parent. Rosemary Lowry, Chula Vista Elementary School District, and I'm a parent. Kay Batista, CBESD, and I'm a parent.
I'm Marjan Lopez, I'm parent, the National City District.
Thank you, everybody, for doing that. Are there any X Factor members here that would like to introduce themselves?
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Keller, Special Education Coordinator for Coronado Unified. Happy to have Erica representing us as part of our CAC.
Thank you.
And I'm Diana Lynn. I am the program administrator with the South County Selpa.
I think that covers everybody. So thank you all for being here today. So this is our business meeting for our Community Advisory Committee in South County, Selpa. For the members of the public who haven't been here before, this is really a business and working meeting for us. We do have moments in the agenda for public comment where we get to hear things that you would like for us to consider for future agenda items. Unfortunately, we're not able to respond directly just because there's several of us are parents here. We're all kind of still trying to figure stuff out. So sometimes we have to go back to our school districts and answer questions and raise anything that's been brought up at the meeting. So just so that we can go ahead and set expectations there. For today, we'll be talking a little bit about CAC membership, mainly because we have 6 new voting members, which is so exciting since our last meeting. So I want to have an opportunity to introduce them and kind of know a little bit about them. Then we'll be going to subcommittees. So last time we were together, we decided on 5 subcommittees. Since then, the subcommittees have all gotten together and have started to put some thoughts on what they think their subcommittee should be responsible for. So we'll be hearing from them today. This is the first time that everybody's seeing each other's, right? And for full transparency, people submitted content to me, I threw it on a slide. So this is you're gonna see a working session. You're gonna see CAC members asking about clarification of scope, giving ideas. That's what we'll see this session being today. So just so that you know, this is really like a working session, so you can really see our subcommittees come together, get ideas and put stuff in. And then we'll talk about some upcoming events. In the past, we've heard of people in the community asking, like, I don't know when things are happening. And so I started to put a calendar together based off the things I know, but there's definitely opportunity for input from other districts who might have dates and things on their calendar that we'd love to put out there for the community. So we'll be going through those 3 things today. I'm expecting it to take the full time just because of all the subcommittees that we have. So we'll just be prepared for that. I'm gonna go ahead and move it over to public comment. Erica, you have 3, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, so there'll be 3 public comment. You can come up to the front. There's either, if you need to take a seat, we do have this table with a chair, but you're also welcome to come to the podium and speak into the microphone there. So there's kind of 2 options for you on what you feel most comfortable with. You will have 3 minutes for public comment. I just realized that I like breeze through like slides. You can move to the public comment slide. Go ahead, keep going. Okay. Visual indicator and verbal. So in the public comment, individuals will be given 3 minutes. Hopefully everybody who's wanted to speak had an opportunity to fill out a public comment form. And then just as a reminder, what I mentioned at the beginning is that the CAC won't be able to take action immediately, but several of us are taking notes so that we can go back to our districts if there's anything that needs to be communicated. Okay, great. Erica, I'm gonna, like, what's the best way to do it?
I could do it from here.
You wanna do it from there? I'm gonna leave this here for whoever.
I think I got enough. Okay, so I have Roxanne. Palestina.
Hello, everyone. Glad to see you guys appointed more members. Just a suggestion, this is a community advisory committee, and just alone, the way you sat down, it's kind of rude for the people coming into this meeting. I think it'd be nice if we could, you guys could be facing us to make it feel like community. Just a suggestion, and then also, there's a lot of people that aren't here. I don't know if you guys are inviting your fellow people that are in your classrooms or people that you know, and maybe they're working parents. So we've been asking since forever for it to also be accessible to the community, make it live streamed and recorded. That's another suggestion. Other than that, also the public comments. I mean, we want to hear the reports, and it'd be nice if we could give public comment after you guys give your presentations to have more input. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. Sitting back there is kind of rude, just seeing your backs. It's a community advisory committee. But thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Marjan Lopez. Is that here?
Why need to sit down over there?
Whatever you feel most comfortable with.
Okay.
Do you want the mic though?
No, maybe I am so loud.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's my point. So I have one kid, and always change the school, always. New year, new change. And that is so worrying for me and almost the parents I talk to. And the teacher also too, change the class. And I don't know you, but always the kids who have the, special needs, always he need to be protected, and he have lazos, I don't know how to say in English. Lazos, friendly with the teacher and say, when change.
Like ties.
Yes.
Yeah, ties.
And when change, routinary, like always the change the semester, the kids suffering. Because the kids always can be, where's my teacher go? My friends where to go? That happening with my kid. And I'm so mad because he needed to decide what's going on with our kids. I don't want to move my kids every year and every semester for new teacher and new classroom. That happened. So many parents right now. And that's just my comment. I need a help for you and we change that. Because the teacher too also is hard. Because coming and different kids, different moms, and different principal. This is why I told you, think about it that our kids deserve stability. And more for can be stressed out too for us. Like, oh, what happened? I need a new bus. I need to bring the new kids. And that is my point. I asking you this table, figure out what's going on with that. Try to make solution. Because our kids is the priority for us. Thank you.
I don't have a name on this last one, so I believe that was the last public comment.
Was it just, it was a long one?
Yeah.
Okay, I just grabbed a bunch.
Okay.
This feels very official up here. Thank you for the public comment. I really appreciate it. I think it's helpful for us to understand, it's helpful for us to hear from the public, because I think as we're starting to establish as a CAC, we're trying to figure out what works. So every time we've had a meeting, we've been in a different room. We're trying different layouts. We're hearing feedback from the public. So keep it coming, because I think what we'll hear is that people have different perspectives, and we're just trying to figure out what works. So thank you for that. So I'm gonna move to, thank you. We're gonna move into our CAC business. And we can move to the next slide. Welcome to our newest voting members. So we had 4 elected from Chula Vista, and we had 1 elected from Coronado, just since we last met, which is very exciting. And so I'm very excited for them to join. They introduced themselves, but I guess I should ask you guys if you wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about kind of why you wanted to be in CAC and kind of what you're hoping to get out of it. I think that'll be helpful for us to hear, if that's all right. Yeah, okay.
Hi, Erica Lowry from Coronado. I probably got one of the older kids in the group. I've got a 10th grader who's actually in the middle of his math final right now. And so you'll see me keeping an eye on the clock as I'm just praying that he passes his final. I got involved with the CAC after coming to a bunch of the meetings here at the Selpa. I had someone point out to me that they've got a community group, a parent, that talks to the parents and such. And I started coming to those meetings. So I was at the November meeting before I was put on the board here. So, the CAC has a good opportunity to have a good relationship with the district, and I'm very lucky to have Coronado's backing and support. And we're working as a team there, and I would love to take the ideas that we're putting in Coronado and spread it out to the other districts.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rosemary Lowry, no relation to Erica Lowry.
I was like, oh my gosh.
First, I'd like to thank the public for coming here today. I know that you all took time out of your days to be here, so I thank you all. And I've been coming to the Selpa meetings for about a year now. I was involved with the community that was really trying to help form the CAC after not having a working group for quite a bit of time. I am very happy to be here and help represent Chula Vista and to work with the other districts to help make things more equitable amongst the South Bay. I have 2 children, one who's neurotypical, one who's neurodivergent, and I just see the huge immense difference in the way that my neurodivergent child school experiences. And I'd like it to be for all of our children to be more equitable. I'd like it to be, you feel part of your communities, and I'd like to help bridge that gap. And so that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
I'm Noel Cravens from CDSD. I joined because currently I'm PTA president of our school, and I establish relationships with with parents in our school community, and I'd like to help children that are in, students in special education, and including their parents, to hopefully give the resources, because it sounds like the resources that they have, parents don't know. Like, unless you know someone that's been through it, like they have no idea. And it's just weird, because if you have a new kid in an elementary school, you don't know, they don't just hand it to you. Like, you have to find it. And by the time you find it, your child is probably in first grade, second grade. But yeah, I'm joining this committee, so hopefully I can help our school community and the Chula Vista School District.
Hi, I'm Jay Bautista. I am a parent of a child on the spectrum. He's in first grade and he's in special day class. And been involved with the school district since he was 3. Once he transferred out of regional center, we did the whole process. And so I thought that from there I knew about Selpa, and I have attended some of the trainings which have been very helpful. I do think there is, I'm part of the Parent Spec Committee for Chula Vista School District, and this was formed because a lot of parents were experiencing some of the same concerns and issues at their school site, so they took some members across this district and created this committee. This is kind of a bigger forum for the same thing, and I think it's one of our biggest things is inclusion and equity, and I feel that being able to bridge it from different school districts. I hear great things about Coronado, I hear great things about like the other districts, and how can we make it just better across the whole South Bay.
Okay.
Yes, you can definitely speak.
Hi, my name is Lynette Salome, and I'm from South Bay. And honestly, I always said parents are the first advocate, but I'm gonna fight right next to you because I'm a special ed teacher and I live it every day with my students. And also, honestly, one of the big reasons I'm here is because of Roxanne and seeing this parent fight for what's right. And so hopefully we can make a change, we can do decisions, and we can work as a group in a community.
Thank you. Thank you. I love hearing it. I think a lot of us are here for the same reason, is we've gone through parts of the journey, we've been frustrated. Some of us are on a high right now, maybe, and want to share that information, and some of us want to connect with people who are on the next journey, right? My kid's in middle school, and I'm like, oh my God, high school. Like, that's like the point that I'm at right now, and so I know when this opportunity came up, it was, there's gotta be more information out there. And so just trying to get information out and also share information across, I think is really helpful. So, so I super appreciate everybody being here. Thank you to our new members for joining us on this journey. And I think we have our other new member, but I'm not gonna put him on the spot. But that's J-Rel, if anybody needs to know. Thank you for coming. So welcome to all the newest members. One thing I did want to bring up, you guys have all been great in attending and responding and telling me when you're able to come. But one of the things in our bylaws, just so that you know, is there is a bylaw about removal of membership. And so there are a few members who we've started to reach out to since our last meeting who we have not heard from or have not appeared. So we're trying to actively seek them out, find out what's going on, and see if there's an opportunity for replacement. Right now, this is what's listed in our bylaws for removal of membership. If any member is absent from 2 consecutive meetings without a valid excuse. So a lot of you, or a lot of people who aren't here, have communicated that they couldn't make it because they couldn't get time off work. Completely valid. But if we don't hear anything for 2 consecutive meetings, Selpa staff will be reaching out to confirm if you're still to determine your continued interest. It's really only a way to get us to move forward, right? We can't be waiting on everybody. There's a lot of people out here who can benefit from us getting together in the work that we do. So just know that this is in our bylaws. So if for some reason you cannot make it, just let me or Erica know. It's really simple. So just wanted to put it out there. Erica Avery, not Erica Lowry. You can let her know too, maybe you'll let me know. But just wanted to put it out there for membership. So I'll move to the next slide. Okay, subcommittees. So I believe all the subcommittees have gotten together. I'm gonna apologize to you because I'll talk about that in a minute. So I believe all the subcommittees have got together because I got content from everybody. So thank you all for getting together. for meeting, for brainstorming, what you think would make the most sense. I think it's helpful to have everybody's perspective. Before all the subcommittees were put together, Erica and I had the opportunity, I'm gonna say, to put all the subcommittees together. So in order to prevent quorum, we had to make sure that there was no subcommittee with more than 8 people, no subcommittee can have 2 or more people, because otherwise that's quorum. Then they could like overvote things that are presented here, which is really interesting when there's several school districts and only 2 can be in a subcommittee. But we also wanted to make sure you were passionate about what you did. So we did our best to put you in your preferences if you had communicated preferences. A few things to note. Erica Lowry came in as board after the subcommittees were put together, and she's from Coronado. Every other subcommittee has 2 districts on there. So putting her on a subcommittee may result in quorum. The only thing is that our staff education subcommittee actually includes the 3 members who have not been active. And so there may be an opportunity for you to join the staff education subcommittee with Maricela, because then that would allow for 2. That's just a proposal. We can talk about if that makes sense. Because in the bylaws, Erica and I can appoint you to that subcommittee, if that makes sense. But what I wanted to do is I wanted for everybody to kind of hear what all the subcommittees have come up with. What's interesting is I'm probably the only one who had a chance to see them all because they all just came in to me. But as I mentioned in the beginning, I took all the content and just threw it on a slide for you guys to speak to or put in the slide that you guys created. There is maybe an opportunity to refine what you guys have put together. And I only say that because some of the goals are broad, and I'm not sure if they can be completed before June 30. That can be like an overarching goal that maybe is completed the next year. Some of the things that came back have overlap. So I think almost every committee wanted to create a parent guide. It's like, okay, how is yours different from another one, right? And it's just making sure that the parent guide for, I don't know, student inclusion is very specific to tips on including students, right? Parent guides are great. I think we need to get more parent guides out there, but I wanted to make sure this team gets to hear from one another to understand how they can refine it so that it's not a duplicate, or maybe that's good that it's duplicate. Let's talk about it, right, when we hear from one another. So just something to think about as the subcommittees are coming up to present the information that they have, is how can we refine it so that we're focusing on certain areas for quick wins so we can get stuff out there to the community. What else? I think that's all I wanted to talk to you about, the overview. So I had mentioned that staff education, which is the first one's listed. Maricela did a great job trying to actively reach out to people, and I don't think any of them have responded unless they responded directly to you. And so I don't know if you have thoughts that you want to share, or if you would prefer to spend time connecting with Erica. It's really up to you. This is an opportunity for you to get feedback from the.
Just in general, I personally, that's why I didn't want to just make it like, just San Isidro or what I was thinking. But I think it will be very important for all staff to be trained in inclusive practices in general. So that's my idea, and hopefully we can work it out together.
Great. I'm gonna go ahead and hand it over to parent education. And then what we'll do is hopefully you, Maricela and Erica can get together and you can come back, and then we'll just put it on the agenda for next time for you guys to report back. That's okay? Okay, great. Parent education. I don't know if, Gerald, you want to speak as lead, or if you want someone else to speak and just report out to the team? Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and speak.
So, our goal is probably what everyone was thinking is a accessible guide, parent guide. I think there's lots of resources out there, so to Jackie's point, we don't wanna spend too much time duplicating everything, but I also put in, or maybe I didn't put it in here, but like making it accessible in different languages, especially here in Chula Vista. I noticed that was missing, so I guess our goal by June 30th was to compile everything into what we think is a comprehensive guide, and then at least translate it into a few of those languages. But, I think it's accomplishable by June 30th.
Okay. Questions or comments? Yes.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Lowry. I'm in the Selpa CAC handbook. Perhaps there is a way to gather what their resources are and put them in our handbook. That was my same comment.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things when I saw it, I was like, oh, is that the handbook? But I think there is definitely an opportunity for coordination here. I love that you're thinking about translation and different materials. I think that's really important. Any other comments?
Hi, Melissa Dolo. I'm thinking maybe just asking the parents what kind of training they might want to see, what kind of education they're looking for. So a way to really, maybe a survey or just kind of, even at these meetings, getting comment cards from folks who have ideas of what they think is missing in terms of the education for parents.
Love that. Any other comments, questions?
Maybe also work on to see like how we could effectively disseminate the information, like we can have a handbook, but if it doesn't get to the parents, then no one's really learning anything.
It goes to your point before, it's like there's a ton of resources, but like, how do we get it out to people's hands? Okay. My question when this came up was the word comprehensive felt like I was boiling the ocean. Like, what is comprehensive? And is there anything, if we're creating something, will stating that something is comprehensive be outdated the next day when there's a new thing? So I would just look at when you're putting your resources together, think about how sustainable that resource guide is. I don't think it's about, there's this workshop that's on this specific date. It might be that Selpa holds an IEP Academy. Go here to find out when dates are versus these are the dates that they are. Does that make sense? Okay. And I think that's just one of the things for what we're doing. I don't know, my hope is that we're creating something that's sustainable, because otherwise we're going to be spinning our wheels on things and we're not going to be able to move forward. So if we are working on something, let's create something that we know can be helpful, next year and the year after. And maybe there's tweaks, but hopefully we won't be starting from scratch all over again, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I know you didn't call this out, but I actually really love the idea of a district-wide parent workshop on IEP collaboration and advocacy strategies. I thought that was amazing. And that's something that we, this group would be perfect at facilitating. Thank you.
Yeah, you didn't give yourself credit for the bonus goal. Which I agree. There's a bonus goal that's listed there, and I almost feel like that could even happen quicker than the comprehensive resource guide. I could be wrong, but but I think a lot of people could benefit from that. In addition to what the Selpa is holding for the IEP Academy, it could be something that just looks different from that. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Any other questions or comments? And I swear it's not gonna be done after that. There's gonna be a question and answer afterwards, after all the subcommittees speak. Yes.
Hi.
I'm Sally. I'm a little bit confused because at Sweetwater, we get a lot of that. Folk, like emails and go to this and parent workshop this and that. So it's not happening in other places? I don't know.
We have it a lot in National School District.
National does a lot and Sweetwater. That's why I was confused.
Yeah. And that is a great point, and it's great that we have this multi-district group. It'll be interesting, right? And maybe that's a starting point, is you guys can look and talk to the parents who are in those districts who have resources and see if we can pull that. Maybe it's pulling content. Maybe there's coordination there. But it's great to hear that there's a starting point. Thank you, Sally, for that comment. Okay, thank you, Parent Education Group. We can move to the next one, and community involvement. Erica, I'm gonna give you the mic just because you're late.
Hi, good morning. So like what we've seen already, kind of gathering information for parents and teachers. But I think like we spoke more about having a focus and what happens before the IEP, because it's great to have all of these resources, but there's so many things that need to happen to get to that point. So I think it would be kind of like a very basic ABC kind of things to like, is your child struggling in school? What should you look? Because yes, you have the IEP Parent Academy and everything, but there's so much that happens. It could be a year before you even get to that point. Like I know for us it was. And, you know, and we had several IEP meetings and still nothing happened. So I think it's kind of like the basics started from like the bottom. And one thing that like we have been trying to push like in our district is similar to what was mentioned in the previous slide, an open house for IEPs with your IEP team. Because I didn't know what an RSP teacher was. We didn't know anything. You know, our son was just kind of like labeled as like, you know, he has bad behavior, but not like, there was nothing brought up until, you know, months after, oh, you know, he might need to be assessed. So I think that would be our kind of, and I've had this for like 2 years in my notebooks, kind of like, this was something given by Selpa here in a meeting, and kind of like, it's a timeline of before you even get to the IEP.
Yes.
So I think that would be, and based on that, community involvement. So I think another thing that we touch on is like, we would like input from like the community members that come and be like, hey, we are having this, or there's an event at our school. It doesn't need to be like school led. It could be a sporting event, you know, at their church, some faith-based, whatever. It would be nice if you guys can go and pass out handout flyers. And also focus, with all the other districts, with that point of contact that they have in their district, making sure, can we give this, can you, you know, share it with your staff and with your parents? Because again, I think there's so many layers that happen before you even get here. And I feel that that might not be touched that much.
Yeah, that's great. I almost feel like that's like where there's the most need, right? There's like all this IEP stuff, and it's like, I don't even know how to get an IEP. Like, what does this even mean?
You know, like if you like, we were put in a position, like my son was suspended about 12 times before we even knew. You know, and it was a random that we spoke with someone that was like, hey, you know, I think that he can't be suspended that much.
Right, yeah.
And we were like, you know, it was after COVID, he was in kinder, like, you know, we were completely illiterate to everything. And that's like the position that a lot of parents are in, you know, because the schools are not like necessarily telling you, here you go, we can help you. You know, the principal was just like, your kid cannot be here.
Yeah. And you can go back and say, no, they have to be here. So,
you know,
Yeah.
So I think that there's such a key, and that would be more the community involvement and like educating parents, like, you know, if this is happening, you probably need to look at something like this.
I mean, this is a really great resource just with the days
And
Any
but
member,
kind of like, not necessarily just this, but kind of like, if this is happening with your
Yeah.
child, that they can't stay in the classroom, they're eloping, they're being suspended, this or that, they don't wanna go to school, you probably need to start looking at, if there's a possibility that something, can be different.
Yeah.
And they need support.
yeah,
So for me, that's like, that for me is like the big piece.
Yeah. Great. Any questions or comments from the members to? Yes.
I also think some of the things you said could be merged with parent education too. You guys could collaborate on whatever handout or summary, that'd be great. I also think coordinating with the parent liaison at Selpa would be helpful because a lot of people go to them for questions and, I think like they may know like where the community is most at need as well too, as well as listening to public comments. So I think getting some feedback from them would be helpful.
And also, don't forget the people who speak Spanish. This is almost area the people who speak Spanish, the majority of people, the parents, know nothing because the law, the Mexican here is so different. And be open mind and try to teach it at the parents too, and be humble too also.
Yeah, I love that you comment on it. It's not about language, but it's a cultural background, right? They went through some parents have gone through a different schooling system. They don't understand how to navigate our school system. So it is about making it very simple and easy to understand. So thank you for that comment. Yes.
I was just gonna say, for any of the events that we're doing, I think we noted a district-wide event, this kind of community event, maybe making sure someone on site is bilingual or can be there to translate to help with any of those families and parents that, have questions or it is overwhelming.
Great. Any other comments, questions? Okay, thank you. Move to the next one. Okay, special education student inclusion. So your guys is on 2 slides because there's a lot of information on there. Just so that you know, don't think that I forgot anything. Elizabeth's not here. Okay. I'm Sally. We talked about our focus, advocating and somehow getting the inclusive environments on. We wanted to do both academic and extracurricular. We're not sure exactly how that could work, but we're willing to talk about it. We want them to be included, basically. Yeah. Oh, and the important thing is also, there's a lot here, but we wanted the parents to be involved because sometimes there's inclusion activities and then the parents don't bring their children. It's difficult to promote inclusion and then people don't come. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But we're really really want the inclusion aspect, academically and extracurricular. So the goal, I know it's really small, guys, sorry. So the goal was for students with disabilities to be fully included in both academic and extracurricular activities with tailored supports in place for their participation. Additionally, parents of students with disabilities will report feeling supported and involved in both academic and extracurricular activities.
Okay, so can I just talk a little?
Yes, absolutely. So the reason why we put that in is because we wanted the parents to know that there will be supports in place at these places. So maybe the aides will be there, or we wanted to let the parents know that there will be a support or supports there available. Yeah.
May I make this is Rosemary Lowry, may I make a suggestion? I think that it will be very difficult for all the 6 districts to meet the June 30th goal, since we all have very, different, some of us are there and some of us are not there, right? My modification would be students with disabilities will be supported in both academic and extracurricular activities. Just because I think it will be hard to say fully. For instance, CBSD has 50 schools. Some of our schools are doing this, my school included, but just last year, you could have said that. So I think it would be very hard, at least for my district, to get it by June, and that would probably need to be a 4-year goal.
Yeah, and just for the measurable aspect, I feel like maybe, is there a possibility to survey the students who are receiving special education and see, if they are feeling included, and where are the areas where they don't feel included? Almost like a climate survey to see how they're feeling, because it would be hard to measure how they're feeling if we don't ask them. That's just my general opinion.
I love also that you're like, what's baseline? What is baseline so we can measure improvement?
This is just a suggestion too, is empathy interviews. I know that at least my site is doing that, to kind of get a feel for our kids that do have special needs, like where are they feeling the most supported? How are they feeling with their teachers? How are they feeling with other peers? And I know that data really does drive, our next steps. So it's just a suggestion.
It sounds like some districts are really good at doing this already, so I would love to know if there can be maybe another goal added of like some of the best practices for inclusion. So that might be helpful for the district, so that we can like start doing that, because like you said, my school is 40% have IEPs at the school at Rogers Elementary. So they're just innately inclusive, but it's not like that across the 50 schools.
I love that being the tangible thing that we give, and it will lead into this, right? Is hopefully if we create the list of best practices, I'm so happy to hear that there are schools that are doing it, and we would love to be able to hear what's been successful so that others can be a part of it.
I also believe we could also collaborate with the special education student inclusion, so if we can make it happen, maybe with the staff education.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like staff needs to be trained.
Yeah, it goes back to what you were talking about is number one, and like, let's teach them about inclusion.
I have a comment.
Yes.
So I know that a few parents have mentioned, and teachers have mentioned that, their schools or district specifically has things that seem to work really well. So maybe if we can gather a working document where each person can share what they would like to see, or things that your district or school is doing that's find beneficial. Like, I know when we met, like Consuelo, and we went over to NSD's website and showed her where all of the parent resources live, and they're constantly updated with a newsletter, like with Selpa dates, so it's something that they work on monthly, so it's not like it's things from 5 months ago. So
Yeah.
that's something that we find, at least I as a parent find helpful.
It might be interesting, and this is kind of connecting to some comments that we've heard in the past, and also the discussion is, it might be interesting to add to the agenda, just like a shout out by district of like, what one thing, because I feel like we can probably list some things, what one thing, it's almost, there's this activity that we do that's like the rose and the thorn. It's like, what activity is really working? What have you seen work very well? And what's like the one thing that is like really bugging you? And it kind of allows us to all hear across the board what's going well so that we can share, right? Like, Consuelo, you got to see that from NSC. There's like no reason why you would have stumbled across that if you weren't here and working on this. So that might be an interesting thing to do going forward if you guys are up for that. Because I think it's helpful. Like, I love hearing like in other districts that they're doing certain things, and like, it makes me want to ask more questions, and then we can kind of dive into that.
Okay, one thing I'm noticing is like distinct, as a mom of a 10th grader, I've seen it one way in the elementary school, a different way in the middle school, and a different way in the high school. You may need to break it out into 3 different sections depending on maybe grade or age range. Just because high school is so much different than the middle school and so much different than the elementary school. It's night and day, especially when you get into the extracurriculars. You're going to be looking at high school and how sports and looking towards colleges are integrated into that program versus, trying to get socialization.
Yeah, it's very different. It would be interesting to split it out. It's almost like preschool, right? Like preschool and then elementary school, because preschool is different, right? Selpa has a workshop that's going around that's transition to preschool. Like, that's completely different from transition to elementary school, from transition to middle school. Ooh, that was big. We had social stories, my son visited, like there's like all these things that you can do to help make that smoother. I told you I'm nervous out there. But that's why this community is here, right? Is, those who have younger kids, like they're worried about right now. And then as soon as you get to like 4th and 5th grade, you're like, oh my God, what middle school is my kid going to? And like, I finally figured it out. And then you like have to switch over. So I love that. I love the sharing. I think we do have to make a caveat of this is what's working in preschool, this is what's working in elementary. But we cover all the grades across the board, right? So I think this is great for people to hear. It's great for parents to hear who are going through this transition. So I think that'll be great. Yes.
That's just my problem right now. My kids keep going to go at the middle school. I don't know what middle school I need to go. And I talk with different parents in the classroom that my kid is the same problem. So that can be something help them go to school and say, with you. That's I'm worried. Say what school I need to go, and I don't want to like that, but I want to apply for different. I can do it or no? That is my questions, and someone that's asking the same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes.
So I think of what we're hearing, we're gonna go back and refine the goal and make it more attainable by June. And it'll be more like she said, I like the word of changing and more supported. And maybe at first just putting what our best practices out there and then continue our work from there, because then it would be too broad. So we will refine this and present it next week.
Great. I think that's great. Okay. Any other comments or questions on student inclusion? Okay. I'm gonna walk over for the handbook. I'm assuming it's going to you.
Yeah, we're all gonna say a few words. I'm just gonna stand up so you guys can hear me and see me. So we're the Selpa CAC handbook. I'm gonna be the lead, Melissa Jolo. I'm passionate about a handbook and former positions I've had. I've kind of always been that person to organize the things and put it together and to guide people who are new in things, who are feeling overwhelmed. And myself as a parent, I felt very overwhelmed in this process. So I was very excited to hopefully be able to give back to those parents who are feeling lost or don't know the website isn't, they can't click through or they can't find things or it's outdated. Yeah, I'm sure that Jade and Rosemary will maybe tell you their reason for wanting to be a part of it, but I'm working with Jade and Rosemary, who are also, they're part of Chula Vista Elementary School District, and I'm a part of South Bay Union School District. And we actually met this week because with the holidays it was a little crazy, but we had an awesome meeting and we all feel really like passionate and excited to be working together and to get these goals accomplished by June 30th. So I'm gonna pass it off to Jade. Rosemary, were you gonna do a description? Okay, awesome.
Okay, hello, everybody. So I'm gonna talk about the description. So, the handbook should provide a clear understanding of the SELPA, the CAC's role and the resources available to parents and community members involved in special education. We want to, research local SELPA handbooks. There's other ones that are out there, so what we wanna do is we wanna, review them and just make sure that we have it to, the best for our districts. We want to also engage with community members, parents, SELPA, school staff, which includes teachers and aides, to ensure that we include accurate and appropriate resources. And I did hear Marjam about, making sure that it's not just English only. We're definitely gonna wanna have some translations. We may need to coordinate with SELPA and find out what other languages are more requested, but I know definitely Spanish is one that we'll need to have. Okay, I'm gonna hand it off to Jane.
I guess I'll stand up too. Okay, so while we're not promising the handbook to be done by June 30th, we are promising an outline of what that handbook would look like. And at that point, we may be able to see, like, our goal is like, is it gonna be available in PDF, if it's gonna be an online format? So we'll be able to create an outline and share it with the public. But before that, we're gonna request copies of local CAC community handbooks for guidance. We know there's some out there, as Rosemary said. But one of the important things is collect community input on what they would like to see in the handbook. So that's gathering information from public comment. I think Roxanne made a great point about having public comment maybe after, so that they can comment on some of the things that we're working on and what they would like to see. That would be helpful, as well as engaging with our school districts. I would love for everyone to go back to their respective districts and see and gather input on what they think would be helpful in this handbook, as well as sending out a survey.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
She just left, but I was mentioning to Marisela in the morning because I'm a gen ed teacher.
Yeah.
I think there's someone else in gen ed here. Okay, perfect, because the reason that I wanted to be in this committee was because I have 2 students with autism last year. And I wanted to be more knowledgeable and have more support, because as a gen ed teacher, you really don't have that spec credential or go to these meetings. So I think that for the first subcommittee, the staff education, that if the gen ed teachers who have students with IEPs in their classroom could get more support in that as well.
Yeah, it could be a kind of picking from information from all these committees too. Yeah, I would agree. Other comments or questions?
Yes. When you guys created the procedures of this, was it in place that the comments would go in there? Because if not, I would like to motion that they get moved
To the end.
and
It was what we came into, to be quite honest. But that doesn't mean that we can't. So Lynette's motioning for the public comments to be moved to the end of the agenda. Are you motioning for it to be done today, or for all future meetings, or for both? Just to clarify.
I think that those are in the agenda for this.
For future meetings, okay. So Lynette's motioning for all future meetings after today, so starting with the March meeting. It's going off of memory. That we'll be moving public comments to the end of the agenda.
I second.
Rosemary seconds that motion. Any objections? No objections, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, this is why public comments are helpful. Thank you for that. I was just thinking if we should do that now, but yeah, it's like a balance. So thank you. I think that'll be really, really helpful to get the public comments after, because it allows for people who've had thoughts coming in to kind of hear where we are, and then to be able to comment so that we can consider that going forward. Thank you for that. Any other comments related to the CAC handbook subcommittee?
I was thinking one comment.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're hoping to include some of those visuals like you showed, America, like the timeline and, just like the questions that you ask when you're not sure about an IEP, like really hoping to have some visuals, like easy infograms for folks to just look at and kind of like, this is what I need to do, these are the steps. Because I feel like you get a lot of verbiage, you get a lot of text heavy stuff and people check out. They don't want to read it, they're overwhelmed, especially translation purposes. So I feel like if we can have some nice visuals that are just easy to follow before, during, after, whether it's also elementary versus middle school, high school, I think that's kind of what I'm hoping that we can see for this handbook with clickouts and links for these visuals. And people can hopefully download them and maybe have them in a binder or like an easy place, because I have a binder for my child. So I have all these different tabs and like, what am I doing for the IEP? What am I doing for this? So I think it could be great to just have those visuals for families that are really busy and stressed out.
Thank you. Any other comments? Just a clarifying question. Who's the target audience for this handbook? Because you've talked about parents, you've talked about teachers, you've talked about community members, and I think just you guys can talk about it if you don't have a quick answer, but you'll notice as you're writing it, it'll be different. And maybe there's multiple handbooks, I don't know. But it's something to consider. It sounds like the direction was to the parent. Parent, this is your navigation system. But it also sounds like there is a need for gen ed teachers, there's a need for teachers, there's a need for specialists, right? Like, so maybe we start with parents. Just a suggestion, you guys can decide. But with everything that we're doing, and it just made me think about it when we were talking, and anything that we provide, think about who is receiving this. Because everybody is going to need a different lens. You know, even when we talk about splitting in by the parent who is new to the process versus the parent who is just transitioning to high school who has gone through IEPs every year. It's a very different set of information, so just keep it in mind. Good? Yeah. Okay, I think we can move to the next one. Okay, so debrief. I think you guys have done a really, really good job about providing input, making adjustments. That's a perfect example of doing that. So just some broad questions I wanted to make sure that we covered to make sure that we all kind of know what's next. Because you guys have great ideas, but what's going to happen in between today and the next meeting? So first is, after hearing from the subcommittees, are there updates to goals? It sounds like there are. Which you guys can go back and refine, and we can do quick updates at our next meeting. But I also know that there's team members who may need to do a deeper dive in doing that. So we can place that in the agenda. Another question was, when will you need extra time in an upcoming agenda? For example, if we're gonna present the outline, that might take more time than a really quick update. And so I'll just need to know that in advance so that we can put that on the agenda. Right now, I'm just gonna list out subcommittee updates. Because I think it's helpful. I think all of you guys are gonna have progress from now until the next time we meet. It might be quick, it might be long. Just keep me updated so that I can keep track of time. How do we involve non-voting community members in subcommittees? So a lot of you said, I want community input. My question to you guys is, how do we get that? Are we getting it here, just in public comment? Are we getting it by having non-voting members attend your meetings? Are we doing it with comment cards? I would love to hear how you guys are thinking about that before I move on to the next question.
So I know that Jade had mentioned surveys. I think that's really important so that we could get perhaps our SPED directors to send that out to all of the parents, teachers, et cetera, that this could be relevant to, because we don't have that information. But something else, as I know was mentioned in last meeting, was getting an email for us. So I would like to see maybe perhaps an update from Selpa with a due date of when that could be. Or if it's feasible, because then we can have community members as well email us for that.
Yes, for an email. I think what we've struggled with the email is who's managing it.
right? So I know a lot of us are parents. Someone's gonna have to sit there and read the emails every day and like forward it out to certain people. It could be Selpa. Right now, what we've been doing is any emails that anybody has go directly to Selpa or to Selpa admin, to the general Selpa admin, and then they may forward it to me as the chair.
Is it possible for us to get a Selpa email control?
Not that I am aware of, no. Because my understanding is that we are responsible to our districts. So it would have been up to the district to set up something. Like this is an advisory committee where we get together and collaborate across all the districts. But when we were board approved, our accountability is to our board.
So that's something I could take back to my.
To just
my
ask for it.
district and we could request that.
Which is great for Chula Vista, but then everybody else has to do it and get approval too. So I think that there's an opportunity for, I don't know, for something that we can do for like general CAC questions. But right now it's been, questions have gone to Selpa and then they've been forwarded to me. There haven't been so much that it's been inundating where it's been a problem. But I think hopefully as we start to, I won't say advertise, but that's the first thing that's coming on. As we start to advertise these meetings more and people are starting to hear about it, we probably have to think about what a long-term solution is for the CSC.
Yes, I do have a question, and that for Selpa, really. But is there a possibility of bringing back these meetings part virtual? Because I know like there's been meetings where there's been people now, but.
Well, como no vino nadie más, no les puedo dejar mi computer, so ya no vamos a poder el resto. Así es.